The art of stop-motion animation is more than a century old, but it's now experiencing a renaissance of sorts. Big-name musicians are adopting it in their film clips, and in the Northern Territory it's even being used to help promote a health message.
I can play anger. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Meet Bruce the Crocodile, one of the winners at the last Territory Fistful of Films festival.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
He is the brainchild of Darwin-based animator Al Oldfield.
We needed something for Fistful, and so we whipped up something that I'd actually always wanted to do was animate to a bunch of movie quotes.
I could have had class. I could have been a contender.
Al Oldfield fell in love with the art of animation when he was a teenager.
As you can see, I'm now working at the front. I only started recently. That's my pop over there.
So I've always been a cutter and paster, toilet rolls and tissue paper, you know, making stuff. My mum had a big box of that kind of thing.
As you can see, not a huge call for my line of work.
And I watch a lot of movies, it's disgusting. And then in year 10, I think it was, at school, I was doing media and we did an animation unit, and it was like these two worlds colliding. So he's got a posable metal skeleton inside him, so that way I can move him bit by bit.
Stop-motion animation dates back to the late 1800s. It uses a camera to capture static frames with incremental changes to create the illusion of flowing movement.
Standard film runs at 24 frames a second, so that's what I shoot at, which means I have to take 24 different photos for every second of screen time. And I can spend an hour on one frame.
So it's incredibly time-consuming, incredibly labour-intensive.
Darcy Prendergast is also one of Australia's leading animators.
Ooh.
Mary stopped daydreaming and went and fetched her pet rooster from the rain.
Darcy Prendergast has worked together with Al Oldfield in some of Australia's major animations, including Oscar winner Adam Elliott's film Mary and Max.
He's not as talented as Adam and I, so he fled up to Darwin to try and carve out a kingdom for himself. So he sits up there on his plasticine throne.
Australian music sensation Gautier is a big fan of stop-motion animation. Darcy Prendergast has been the animator and director on 2 of his latest film clips.
Eyes Wide Open's had about 8 million hits, and Easy Way Out's had about 2 million hits, and that's only been online for a bit over a month. So, you know, these are big numbers, and when you think about how many people can physically fit in a cinema, and then you think about how many people have watched your video, it's quite humbling, really.
Stop-motion animation is having an international revival.
Claymation's undergone a renaissance of sorts. I think 3D animation's really kind of flooded the market as of the last decade. So I think audiences are kind of looking for something a little bit more handmade, a little bit more tactile.
I think there's something lovely and chewy, you know, about being able to look up at the screen and see fingerprints and know that thing that you're looking at is real. It hasn't been generated by anything.
Al Oldfield's latest production, The River Inside, premiered recently in Darwin. The film explores the issues of male depression and has the backing of the Northern Territory Health Department.
It's one man's inner journey to discover the source of a tear.
Al Oldfield and his team have drawn on personal experiences for their subject matter.
There's an emotion, a feeling that everyone gets that's not, you know, clinical depression, but it's, you know, you're feeling pretty down or you don't want to get out of bed.
I love working with him. He's loads of fun. He also has a sort of a deep and introspective side, which I think will really come out in this film.
Sydney artist Claire Tennant makes the moulds for most of Al Oldfield's characters.
I love making things, and stop motion is just beautiful. Just the fact that anything is possible, because it's nothing is set in reality.
I'm sorry, this is really not a good time.
And Claire Tennant believes we certainly haven't seen the last of Al Oldfield's work.
He's so driven and focused, and he's such a great guy. In fact, we've already talked about when he's rich and famous.
This is what I want to do with my life, so it's very important to me that I chase that up and, yeah, follow it.
Are you just a big kid playing with Play-Doh?
Totally. It's awesome. Jealous?